Good morning, grade twos. Hope you're doing well. Here is chapter 2 of the Polar Bear Patrol. Miss Frizzle, Arnold asked nervously, what's going on? How about a sleepover in a real igloo, Arnold, the Frizz asked. I don't think so, Arnold said. I promised not to turn on the air conditioner again. Now everybody was crowded around the Frizz. Why are you dressed in a snowsuit, Miss Frizzle? Phoebe asked. It's April. Because we're going on a trip, the Frizz said. Your snowsuits are already on the bus. But, Arnold stammered. Hurry up, everyone, Miss Frizzle called. We're headed for the Arctic. Just follow me. We ran out to the parking lot. The magic school bus was sitting there. It had a big sign on its side. Arctic Explorer. I grabbed a seat in the front of the bus beside Dorothy Ann. Fasten your seatbelts, kids, Miss Frizzle instructed. The Arctic Explorer is ready for takeoff. The Frizz started the engine of the magic school bus. We cruised out of the parking lot onto the road. Soon, the sound of the bus turned into the roar of jet engines. I looked out the window. The magic school bus had sprouted wings. Whoosh! We were up in the air. Arnold peered out the window. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad, he said. It's been nice knowing you. Arnold, I said, turning around, you don't have to worry. Miss Frizzle is behind the wheel. That's exactly what I'm worried about, Arnold said. And I don't like the look of those polar bears on her parka. Polar bears don't usually eat humans, Arnold, I said. As long as people stay out of their way, that is. Well, that seems like a good reason not to get in their way, Dorothy Ann said. Where are we headed, Miss Frizzle? Carlos asked. To the Polar Bear Research Station in Alaska, the Frizz answered. It's just inside the Arctic Circle. So here's a little note from Tim, his little research on King of the Arctic. Polar bears are at the top of the Arctic food chain. They mostly eat seals. Polar bears do not attack humans unless provoked. Miss Frizzle pressed a button on the control panel. A little movie screen popped down over our heads. It showed a map of the Arctic. Do you see the North Pole? Miss Frizzle asked. It's at the very top of the world in the middle of the area that is called the Arctic Circle. So here it is, guys. What's the Arctic Circle, Miss Frizzle? Keisha asked. And who drew it? The Arctic Circle is an invisible line, Keisha, the Frizz answered. It marks the region at the top of the globe, the most northern part of the Earth. And it's where you can find polar bears, I said excitedly. So here's just another side note by Tim called Polar Bear Country. Polar bears live all over the Arctic polar region. 5 nations can call themselves part of the polar bear country. The United States. Polar bears only live in the state of Alaska, Canada, Russia, Denmark. Polar bears live on an island of Greenland, which is part of Denmark, and Norway. The Arctic Explorer wasn't wasting any time. Down below us were miles and miles of forest. We were covering ground fast. Hold on, kids, the Frizz announced. I'm dropping in altitude. There's something down there you've got to see. A few seconds later, the plane dropped down like a roller coaster. All of a sudden, my ears popped and my stomach was left somewhere on the ceiling. This had better be good, I moaned. The Frizz turned around with a twinkle in her eyes. It's going to be tundras of fun, Tim, she said. We all craned our heads to look out the windows. Down below us was something really cool. The green blanket of trees covering the ground suddenly stopped. Beyond it stretched a low Arctic tundra, a treeless, marshy land. It's the tree line, D.A. shouted. I read about that. So here's the tree line. And this is something by Carlos called Far Flying Feathered Friends. Arctic terns are at the top of frequent flyers of the animal world. Every fall, these birds Birds fly south from the Arctic all the way to Antarctic, the area around the Earth's south pole. Every spring they fly back from the Antarctic to the Arctic. That's 35,200 kilometer round trip every year. And here's a little note from Dorothy Ann about the tree line. The tree line is where trees no longer grow and the flat tundra begins. Why do trees stop growing along this line? Because the ground north of the tree line is frozen all year round. The frozen ground stops large tree roots from taking hold. Mostly mosses, herbs, and small shrubs grow in the tundra regions. Hey, Carlos said, I thought the Arctic was covered by mountains of snow and ice. Don't worry, Carlos, the Friz said. There's plenty of snow and ice ahead, but right now we're flying over the tundra. In winter, it's covered with ice too. Now that it's spring, the snow is starting to melt. I think we've gone far enough, Miss Frizzle, Arnold said. Why don't we just make a quick visit to the tundra? We can observe a little melting snow and then head home. Forget about the moss, I said. I want to see some baby polar bears. And I want to see a baby caribou, Keisha said. Baby caribou are so cute. They've got to be the cutest polar babies around. I'll bet baby polar bears are cuter, I said. But just then, everything around us turned icy. The plane started to bounce up and down. We were flying in the middle of an Arctic snowstorm. I knew I should have stayed home today, Arnold kept saying over and over. Well, it was too late now. I looked out the window. I couldn't see a thing. The air was solid white. Hold on tight, kids, the Friz shouted. I'm making an emergency landing. The plane dropped down, down, down. It hit the ground with a bump. Then it slid along the ground like an out-of-control sled. Finally, we skidded to a stop. For a few minutes, we just sat there in shock. We couldn't see a thing outside the windows. The air was filled with snow, but we could hear something, and it sounded weird, like a broken car horn. Finally, D.A. broke the nervous silence. Miss Frizzle, what's that scary noise? I'm not sure, Dorothy Ann, the Friz said. You kids should put on some more warm clothes, then we'll investigate. Our overhead compartments popped open, and down fell parkas, snow pants, boots, and gloves. We all dived for the clothes. It took a while to put on all the layers. Arctic explorers have to dress in layers. Follow me, the Friz said. She opened the door to the plane, and a slide popped out onto the ground. One by one, we zoomed onto the ground. Just then, the blizzard stopped. The strange noises got louder, and we could see where it was coming from. Reindeer! Wanda yelled. Those aren't reindeer, Keisha corrected her. They're called caribou. They're close relatives of reindeer. We had landed in the middle of a huge herd of caribou. The strange noise was them bleating. So this is by Keisha. A caribou or two. Caribou are large deer. They use their big antlers and powerful hooves to shovel snow to get the grass beneath. Once a year, a male's antlers fall off and then grow back again. So that's the end of chapter 2. We will see you tomorrow for chapter 3. Bye, guys. Miss you.